Given the far-reaching effects of COVID-19, literally, all sectors of the economy have suffered. The art, culture and creative industries have not been spared. However, this plight is a big opportunity to revisit and address the key challenges facing culture and creative industries in Uganda.
Since the COVID epidemic came in this country, and where we had the lockdown, we had a challenge as people in the performing industry. We have the festival time, we have the Christmas, and we have the Easter being our major days. And we are very, very unfortunate this year that we didn't host it because of the coronavirus. So every artist was like set for that function, and people have been sitting since that time up to today. This is something which is new, and we don't know how it will end.
From the lack of proper coordination and crucial infrastructure to capacity building that have been emphasized more on paper than in practice, this pandemic has served as an eye-opener. The Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Uganda National Cultural Centre and the National Cultural Forum have, in a concerted effort, proposed measures for the recovery of the creative industry by rallying primary target groups and key stakeholders. Culture and creative industries are socio-economic activities that deal with the ingenuity of the mind and talent to produce intellectual property that creates jobs, generates income and revenue for the country.
An average person has breakfast, lunch and supper. Those are 3 meals a day. The same person will consume at least 10 songs a day on FM stations, will consume at least 5 music videos of a TV station, will consume at least 3 movies in the night or over the weekend. The same person. But where's the difference? That farmers have a system under their value chain where they can track their production, marketing, transportation, and returns from what they have produced to the selling point. The difference in our sector is that in the value chain, after production and promotion and everything, when it comes to distribution, we don't earn. That's where exactly we need government input.
They include the performing arts, which are dance, drama, music, theatre, motion pictures, opera, and the marching arts such as the brass band and film. We also have the visual arts and handicrafts, which are basketry, mats, ceramics, beads, pottery, hand-woven textiles and products. There are also toys, jewelry, bags and ornaments. Others are folk art, festivals, cuisines, traditional medicine, broadcasting, digital animation, video games, language and literary arts, which are literature and book publishing. There are also architectural services, advertising services, media and multimedia. The art, culture and creative industries have been a source of jobs and entertainment for some over the years. In post-independence Uganda, the sector has evolved from the 1960s, where the dominant art forms were Kadongo Kamu, traditional music and dances, to the 2000s, where the industry has grown by leaps and bounds. There are now bigger festivals, shows, concerts, exhibitions, and online streaming. The sector attracts professional events managers, talent managers, audio producers, videographers, and others. However, all those have been frustrated for years by the government treating them as a non-funded priority, financial year after financial year.
Mu Uganda, music industry ya Uganda yali ekola bulungi okuva mu 70s to 80s nti wadde babajereganga nti badongo naye abadongo abo balina bye bakolera twali tulina cooperating ekola bulungi nnyo. Nze manyi mu Uganda omuntu gwe basemba okugula album nga ye album bagula ka million album gye bayita kipepewo million 65 Lusini yazimuwa million 65 mu 2006 zali sente and that was a lot of money. Now mu Uganda right now Uganda buli we bagula music bo bamanyi bawagira muyimbi era bagula music bajja nagula album nagansalya music wa Cindy Shiba bitya era bamanyi bawagira muyimbi. Unfortunately, that money does not go to artists. Those money they buy music, that money goes to pilots. Music olina omufunamu biti bisatu. Waliwo performing money zofuna, that's one. Nwaberawo royalties zolina okufuna music wo nga John Black nti obamukuba ku radio ne TV ezo sente ng'olina zifuna, that's two. Waberawo sente zolina okufuna mu publishing nga baguze album yo. Kati e Uganda abayimbi basigala kufuna mu performing lwayimbye lwafuna sente. Lwamenyesa amagulu nga Chameleone ajja kutwala emyaka 3 nga takola. Kitegeeza abo abaana bali kibayita keeping up appearance.
The industries are instead funded by practitioners from their small savings, which don't address large investment needs to avert shortages of infrastructure, such as theatres, public libraries, galleries, performance venues, and markets across the country. Some may wonder, why should the creative sector matter? All over the world, it has been identified as the new source of growth for world economies. In Africa, countries such as Nigeria, Ghana, Egypt, and South Africa have become creative powerhouses given the rate at which they are churning out creative goods and services. Nigeria boasts of music and film as their second biggest export and forex earner after oil.
During the lockdown, everybody was glued to the TV. It was the artists that were entertaining people. There is no question about that. That's a strong value. And people were entertained. People were, people were worried. And when you watch some music, you get some entertainment, the worry goes. So that's the value we were giving. We were doing educational programs. A lot of educational programs in terms of COVID was being done by artists. That's a value addition that the artists do. We have also been doing, a lot of, plays that people will be watching. All these are part and parcel of the art fraternity, what the artists do. And I'm telling you, art as a sector is the leading sector in the world. In the US, if you asked me in the US, art and culture is the #1 contributor to GDP. So we are contributor to GDP. In Ghana, in Nigeria, it is #2. In China, in India, for instance, it's a #1 contributor to GDP. Now, why can't we make this art and culture in Uganda become a #1 GDP contributor? We only need to support it a little bit. We need to organize it a little bit. We need to make sure that everybody is trained, the capacity is developed a little bit, and the infrastructure is built, and we are there to go. We will be a #1 contributor to GDP.
In the East African community, the government of Kenya has made some pronouncements to grow their regional dominance in music, film, fashion, books, visual arts, and other creative areas. In Uganda, before the COVID-19 outbreak, the arts, culture, and creative industries had proved their resilience. There were more festivals, concerts, shows, and trade in art, culture, and creative products and services, despite the lack of support systems and little government support. They made a contribution, according to Bank of Uganda data, of $849.9 million, which is about 3% to GDP in 2017, ahead of some of the priority sectors. Remember, the GDP was estimated at $27.6 billion. According to the Uganda Bureau of Statistics Mapping Survey of 2018, they provided 386,000 jobs to mostly young people, and their capacity for jobs is not limited. The only entry requirement is any talent and skill. Uganda has the greatest potential for the growth of the art, culture, and creative industries in the world on account of it having the youngest population, whose median age is 16.7.
The creative industry is one of the biggest and richest industry in informal sector we have. It's because when you look at the artists themselves, or ourselves, majority of them, you find that 70% of youth are in this industry, the creative industry. So we ask and beg the government to understand us, to work with us, so that we can benefit as stakeholders and government benefits also. So right now, we don't need to go to perform in public, but we would have been benefiting in our music, film, and other artistic works through collecting royalties from the radios, TV, all those places.
Uganda is also the most culturally diverse country on earth, with 65 indigenous communities whose languages are closely connected to communities in the East African community. In addition, the ICT revolution has put markets for art, culture, and creative products and services within easy reach, so Uganda can have a share of the global market. Hence the measures below. The proposed measures. Measure 1. Institute a stimulus fund of 37 billion shillings targeting the art, culture and creative industries practitioners and organizations in Uganda. The objectives of the fund are to provide a financing mechanism, strengthen the capacity, expand the markets and strengthen the financial and credit worthiness of the art, culture and creative industries. Measure 2. Establish an art, culture and creative hub at a government-owned facility with expansive space to accommodate activities of the creative industries. The teams have identified government facilities at Bwebaja and Coffee House at Bugolobi. The creative hub will host creative spaces and studios for film, visual art, music, literary and book publishing, design and fashion, and others. All this to provide access to state-of-the-art studios and production technologies and link them to talent and expertise.
We are in the new normal right now. After COVID effects, abayimbi balina okubeera nga music wava mutunda. Bwe tubeera ne one-stop center. Imagine a one-stop center nga we wali awandiika ennyimba down flow esooka. Flow eyokubiri nga wali producer, flow yokusatu nga wali akola video, flow yokuna nga wali akola marketing. Kitegeeza omuyimbi ono kasita ayingira ne talent ye afuluma na ssente. So one stop center genda kuyamba kukulaakulanya industry eno. Industry eno yakula naye mu kukula kwayo nebeera stagnated by so many issues. Abayimbi balina talent kati balina ssente. Baproducer balina talent kati balina byuma. Abakola video balina talent kati balina kamera. Abawandiika ennyimba balina talent nga tebalina kugula nnyimba zaabwe. So bwe tubigatta wamu nga tulina abatereza music okugenda ku YouTube, tulina abatereza music abayimbi okubeera nga bitambula wamu. Kitegeeza nti mu one stop center eno olutuukayo oba otuusa okubeera creative. Gavumenti ejja ganyulwamu etya? Gavumenti ejja kuteekawo n'akayumba kayo aka URA nga bamanyi nti ono omuyimbi lwagadi bw'ayimba ennyimba ne zitambula bulungi tumufunamu income bweti. Ne kati olwaleero abantu bali mu boutique wansi recording music lwagadi agenda okufulumya akayimba akapya baba akafuna dda.
This measure will boost production quality and make local CCI products very competitive on international distribution platforms such as Pearl Magic, iTunes, Amazon, among others. Quality is a key determining factor of competing on the world market. Provide locations, props, and convertible spaces for shooting films, music videos, and other products without the necessity of traveling to the actual places. Host art, culture, and creative academies to provide specialized training for practitioners to help them improve on their craft. Host research, innovations, and development centers to work on new concepts for equipment, production, distribution, and marketing.
It's important that government, and just to be blunt, give the creative sector Bwebaja, okay? So that this space is turned into one production space where if you want anything, that's the place to go. One example, if I am a fashion and design person, that place in Bwebaja should have me all the technical equipment that allows me to produce a piece of cloth that will be Ugandan but also of high quality. If I'm going to do film, that space should have cameras, should have production spaces, should have green backdrops. It should have a studio, a real film studio like the one that can compete with what I have in South Africa, what I have in the US. okay? So that when you get a film from Uganda, Netflix will take it without any problem. Anybody or Sony will say, okay, sell that to us. You need a space like that with that kind of technical space, equipment. That I have producers who can compete with the guy who came from UK or from Hollywood to produce The Last King of Scotland here. That it gives me those technical people here.
The Art, Culture and Creative Industries Hub will contribute to national growth as follows: drive countrywide innovations, grow markets and cut production costs, thereby growing the sector's contribution to the economy. Create 10,000 jobs and provide a model for countrywide expansion of the sector. Boost formalization of CCI enterprises and their contribution to the revenue streams of government through licensing and taxation. The government as part owner will earn a percentage of revenue earned from sale and marketing of products, as well as from broadcasts and streaming services. To guarantee success, it is necessary, beginning now, for the government to enforce strict compliance with local content quotas. In addition, government agencies, beginning now, should collaborate to facilitate the collection of royalties by collective management organizations. Businesses such as radio, TV stations, restaurants, hotels, education institutions, among others, that do not comply with the requirement for a copyright license provided by a CMO must be denied all other licenses. Measure 3. Support the collection of royalties from distributions done via digital channels where music, films, books, art and other products are freely shared on platforms such as WhatsApp, Facebook, email, among others, by introducing a private copy levy, also known as blank media levy, using the value of trade in gadgets in Uganda. According to the 2016 URA data, the measure would yield over 60 billion shillings to be distributed as follows: 18% to the government treasury, 12% to National Culture Forum, and 70% to be distributed equally to all existing collective management organizations for onward royalty distributions to creatives.